Alright, so welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and it is wonderful and exciting tutorial. We're trying to explore a very powerful library from HuggingFace called Dataset, right? So there are several libraries like TensorFlow DS and then TensorFlow Data, which are two different libraries, which allows you to have access to data or to work with data, right? So in this wonderful tutorial, we're trying to check the one from HuggingFace, right? Which is a very simple library that gives you access to thousands of datasets, right? So we're trying to check it out from scratch. So it's very compatible with NumPy, Pandas, so that means you can convert your dataset into Pandas, into different formats, and it's lightweight, right? It has a lot of features. So let's see how to work with this wonderful package, right? So these are some of the features, right? It's very simple. It gives you access to several NLP libraries or NLP packages, or should I say packages, datasets, right? Which you can use to do whatever you want to do. So to install it, just go with pip install dataset, right? That is how to install it on your system. I'll just go back again and check it out. Right, so let's check it out. So how do you install it on the system? So we'll be trying to see how to work with it, which is going to be pip install dataset. So I'll just go back to my terminal, which I've already done, as you can see from here. So just go with pip install dataset, right? That's the name of the package, right? So let's go back and see how to work with it. So I'm just going to go back again, create some cells, and we start writing some code. So let's load the package. So going to call this import dataset. In order for us not to get confused, I'm going to call us import dataset as ds, right? Perfect. And now let's check for the methods of it. Methods and attributes of this particular package. So DRL, we have ds, which you see the various things we can do with it. So there are several features of this particular package, right? So you can actually inspect, you can load metric, right? As we said, there are several metrics. You can load datasets, you can build, right? You can do some very cool stuff with it. So let's check some of them. So I'll just go back again, and then we'll start seeing from scratch the first one. So how do you, first one is how to get, want to know the list of all datasets. So list of datasets, right? Want to know all the list of datasets within our data, within this particular package. It's very simple. Just go with my print. Let's print it out. So ds dot list. So we have list dataset and list metrics. So if I go with the list dataset, I can get a list of all the datasets within it, right? Which is quite huge. As you can see, there are several datasets, right? We have some of them here. We have C3, C4. We have several of them covered dogs. Several datasets. There's even, let's see, one of them we can use. There is glue. There is clue. There is sci-fi. There is MLB. There are a lot of datasets available for you to use, right? Perfect. So let's see the number of datasets that we have, right? We're going to see the number of datasets that we have for this one. I'm just going to copy this one, and let's check for how many datasets we have in it. So there's going to be the list of datasets, or the number of datasets. So it's very simple. So length of this, wow, it's about 1,300, right? And 8 datasets, which is very interesting and very cool, right? Very, very interesting. Now let's see how to load the dataset. In case I want to load the dataset, so by default, all of these datasets, these are the dataset names, right? It is already not on your system, but in case you want to download it, you use the name. You pick any of the names from here. If it's available, then it's going to download it on your system, right? That is the basic understanding behind it. So let's check it out. So I'm just going to go back here, and I'm going to load a simple dataset. So to load the dataset, let's call that dataset, let's say cola dataset, right? You can keep any dataset, and I'm just going to go with this option. So let's check the function first. So the function to load the dataset is going to be my ds.load dataset, right? To see the basic functions of it, you can see it from here. So it's going to take the path, right? Apologies for the noise. It's going to take the path, right? Which can be glue, it can be several of them. That is where you want to store it, and then there's also the name. That is the name of the particular dataset that you want. There's also split in case you want to split for training, and there are a lot. So let's pick the simplest of them. So let's put this one up here, and let's see how to work with it. So I'm just going to go with my ds.load dataset. Apologies for the noise maybe being here, right? Now just go with glue, right? That's another format. Then the name of the dataset. So let's go with the cola. So if the dataset is already there, it's going to take it from cache, right? So let's set it as train. Let's run it. So if it's there, it's automatically going to bring it out. So reusing it, right? If it's there, right? But if it's not there, let's try something that is not there. This is loaded data that's available. So let's check a dataset that is not available, right? So a dataset is not available, so I can just go back again. That is not yet downloaded, right? So I'm just going to go back and let's pick something from these datasets that you have. So this is going to give us an error if it's not available. So let's check something like IMDb, right? I'm going to pick IMDb. I don't know whether it's there, but let's hope it's there, because if we move the dataset, I'm going to change this one from this to IMDb, right? IMDb, right? So let's change this name to IMDb dataset. So if it's there, it's going to giving us an error, right? It's not there, right? So these are the available ones there. So I can just pick any of them. So let's pick something like this. Yeah, I don't know what this one is, but let's pick this one out. We have no idea. I'll just go back again and I'll change this one from this to this option, right? And I'm going to change it here. Just run it. So this is not available. So you see that it's going to download it. As you can see, it's going to download the dataset from wherever it is, right? Wherever it is in the world on your system, it's going to store it inside your system. So this is the size of the dataset. A very, very cool library, right? That gives you access to a lot of things out of the box. So as you can see, it's taking some time for you to download it, right? So it's going to download it and store it inside. Perfect, that's finished, right? And you can see where it has downloaded the dataset. Very simple. Now in case I want to check where it was stored on the system, right? Check where it was stored, right? As cache, right? You can see it here with this option. So I have my queue. I don't know the name. Yeah, this was the name. Yeah, dataset. Right, then I'll just go with my cache files. If I go with this option, it's going to tell me where it was, right? So this is the file name, right? And this is the location on my system, right? Very simple. That's where it has been cached and stored, right? Very cool. Now, in case I also want to check for the features of this, right? I want to get the info about this, info about dataset, right? So we get about info about dataset. Then also want to get the features, right? Get feature info, right? You can also go with this. So this option here, dataset dot features, right? By default, if I go with this option, let's come back to make it easy for everybody. If I go with this option here, right, it's going to list and give us the dataset and then a feature. So the feature is the number of features or the columns there, right? These are the columns and they're the number of rows, right? So in case I also want to pick only the features, I'll just go with this features. It's going to list the same thing that is here, right? And give us more details, right? So this is the value type for each and every one of them. Very simple, right? Very cool. Again, in case I want to get the number of rows, right, on this, to get the number of rows, just as we saw here, right, I can also get the number of rows, right? So it's going to be the same thing. So we have this dot number rows, right? This is going to give us the number of rows, which is quite huge. In case I also want to get the number of columns, I can also do the same thing. So the same thing we did, dot number columns, right? You can see the number of columns there, which is just 4, right? Very simple. I can also get a shape, right? Just as in pandas, in case you want to get a shape of it, I can also do the same thing, dot shape, and this is going to give us the shape of the entire data set, right? So we have this amount. So it's almost like pandas, but this format is totally different, right? The type of this is not pandas data frame. the type of this is totally different. It's in the format of a dataset, right? So this is arrow dataset. It is converted to arrow to make it easy for movement to different formats, right? Very simple. Now in case I want to get info, right, metadata info, so metadata info, right, about this, what is this data about? I just go with the same thing, dot info. If I go with info, now you see we have everything about this. So we have the description of this particular data set, right, general language, understanding, evaluation, benchmark. We have the citation, we have the title of it, we have several stuff, right? The number of features and everything. This is the metadata of the entire stuff, right? I can also go individually. So in case I want to get individual, so let's say get description. This is very useful, right? Description of dataset, right? I can just go straight away with this option. We'll have this one dot describe or description, right? If I go with description, I can get a description of it, right? So this is from GLUE, the General Language Understanding Evaluation Benchmark. I can also do the same thing here for in case I want to get the citation, right? Who created this data set, right? So citation, I'm going to get the citation of it, right? Just like the normal way we cite to citation. I can also get more information apart from that. So sometimes when you are working with some data set, you have to check for the license, right? Whether it is free, open source or not, right? Before you use it. So you can also do the same thing here. Dot license. It's going to tell us the license. There's no license, right? You can also go back again and check for, let's say, where the data was, where the data, original data set is from. You want to know where the original data set is from, right? So you just go with the home page. So the same thing here. Dot home page. If I go with dot home page, I can get where it is. So this is where the actual data set is from. So if I open it inside my browser, I'm going to see where it is, right? This is a home page about it, right? It's opening it for us. So that is something very powerful with this wonderful library, right? It can do all of these things with it. So that is just for the metadata. Now let's move on from this and actually view the dataset, right? In case I want to actually view the dataset. So let's check something. So in case I want to view data types, right? I can just go with this. Same thing we did. The data. So going to give us the data type, right? String labels. That's one of the ways. In case I also want to check for the columns, column names, right? For this, the same thing we did. Dot column names. Perfect, right? So these are the column names which we got from above. Perfect. These column names, right? The same thing here. Now, how do you view the dataset? How do you view the actual dataset? How do you view it? So the simplest way, just go with this option, right? Remember that when I go with this, I got this features column, right? So I can also go back again to this features column, right? To get the features, it's going to be the names of it. And in case I want to pick a question to know what the question is, I just go back again to the question, right? It's like a dictionary. So question 1, so this is it, right? Very simple. And I can also move from here. So this is going to tell us the feature in the description, right? In case I also want to, this is one of the ways, right? But in case I want to actually view the dataset itself, right? So let me take this one from here and put it somewhere else. I hope you are following this. There are a lot of things you can do with this, right? So in case I want to actually view the actual dataset, I can just go back again, right? Very simple. And then I can just specify. Let's say I want to view one of them. To view actual dataset, let's say single row, a single row. If I go with this, it's going to list the first row, right? 0, right? First row, right? Very simple. That's the first option. So this is simple to, this is similar to something like pandas. PC doing pandas is going to be pd.ilog 0, right? That is something simple like that, right? Something very simple. In case I want to get multiple rows, right? Row selection, right? I can also do the same thing I did here. So let's take off this. Then I can also do some selection for it. So there's a feature called .select that allows you to be able to select multiple rows. Right, there's a feature called .select that allows you to select multiple rows, right? So this is one way. We check that one also. You can also do this option. Since this worked, since this one worked, you can also do the same thing. 0 to this one worked. You can do the same thing. 0 to, let's say, 10, right? And it's still going to work, right? So if this one work, if it supports indexing, that means that it can do all the forms of indexing, right? And it's working perfectly for each and every one of them. Perfect. You can also use the select method, as I was saying. I think using the select option. So this is going to be multiple row selection. using the select option, dot select option, just as in like PySpark. Just go back to the same thing. Let's take off this. Let's go with select. Then I can just specify the columns I want to select. So let's say I want to get 1, I want to get, let's say 3, I want to get, let's say 5, right? So this is going to give us a summary of it. These are the number of rows selected. And in case I want to get for the questions, I just go back again to the questions option. Right, if I go with this option, now it's going to pick, say, question 1. I'm going to select the 3 rows for it. 1, 2, 3. So this is similar to pandas. In pandas, you would have done something like this. So df.ilog, let's say 1, 3, 5, right? That's in case you are working inside pandas. It should have been like this option. Something very simple, right? So this is the option in case you wanted to do it in pandas. Then you just go back with your question 1, right? The same thing here. Very cool and very nice. That is some of the things. Now this is useful. This is useful in case you are doing some cool stuff, but in case I want it in the format of a data frame, I want to view it as a data frame, right? How do I do that? So it's very simple. I'll just go back to this same thing that I have. Let's copy this one. It's saving it, right? Just go dot to. So there are several to CSV, to dictionary, to JSON, to pandas, to packet formats. Let's go to pandas. Then I can now get the entire stuff as pandas. So it's recommended that you actually store it inside a variable. So let's store it inside a variable called df. And if I run it, now I can view it as pandas, right? Very cool. Pandas is an accepted format. Very, very interesting, right? So that is how to use this wonderful library called Datasets from HuggingFace. So you have seen how to, first of all, load a dataset, right? In case you don't have the dataset. So now to load, you have seen how to get all the list of the dataset that we have available, right? And you have seen how to load it using this particular format, right? And then if the dataset is available, it's going to pick it one, because I've already downloaded. It's going to reuse that dataset. If it's not available, it's going to download it in this particular format for us. And you have seen how to see the location of where the dataset is. You have seen the basic features of it, the features info. You have seen how to get the number of rows, number of columns, the shape. You have seen how to get the information about it, the metadata information. You have seen how to select them one after the other. So description, citation. You can even get the site, the license, the homepage. You can even get the size of it, right? I'm going to get a size of dataset. So get size of dataset, right? You can just do the same thing here. Dot size in bytes. So this is going to give us the size of it in bytes, which is about 15, right? Very cool. You have seen how to view the data types with the data type. You have seen how to get the column names. You have seen how to pick an actual dataset, a single row, using the normal indexing, just like in pandas. You have seen how to select using the select option. And then these are not the only one. You have seen how to convert to pandas. You can also convert this stuff into CSV, as we already saw. Now let's move on from here and do some very cool stuff that is unique to this particular library. So based on this particular dataset, in case this is something unique, they can also do this is in case I want to do some simple filtering, right? In case I want to do some filtering, I want to pick all the columns that are starting with H, right? I can also come back again and do something like this option. So let's go to my dataset that I have, dot filter, and then here you can actually pass in any function. So lambda, right? Let's say X. Then I want to pick S from here. Let's get the question 1, right? Perfect. And I want to get any part of it that starts with, let's say, H. Perfect. That is all, right? So this is going to give me a simple, it's going to loop through this and apply this particular function on it for us. So let's store this one as, let's say, start with H, right? Something like that. Now I'm going to check it, see that it's computing it. Very, very cool, right? Just like in PySpark, it's computing it, analyzing the entire data set. This is a very nice feature. It's going to pick only those rows that begins with it. So you can use it for a lot of applications, not just getting those that start with. In case you want to get a particular label, in case you want to get all of these things, you can even check the types of label that you have within this data set. Apologies for how I'm speaking, my bad. Perfect. So has finished computing it, right, giving us our result. Okay, perfect. Now I can just go back again and go with the start with age to get all the places that are starting with age, right? Very cool, right? So these are all of them, all the columns that are starting with age. Very simple, right? Perfect. So now I can just go back again to the question. So let's go with, let's say, question 1. I'm going to list all the places that are having starting with age, right? Very cool, right? Very, very simple, very nice. So that is some of the cool stuff you can do with this wonderful library from HuggingFace Dataset. Very simple, very nice. Can do a lot of things. Can even convert this one to pandas, to CSV, and the rest. So thank you for watching this tutorial. In case you have any question or contribution, you can just put inside the question. Can just put inside the comment section below, and then you can also check out our website. We have some wonderful courses, and you can check it out. Thank you. See you another time. Stay blessed.